Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for School Live Chapter 78. This is it, folks. The grand finale. When we last left our heroes, Yuki, aided by the ghosts of Megane, Alzoid, Toromaru, and also Kurumi, who is probably dead because of that, she was able to make it to the roof, called the Randall Protection Agency and told them the cure to the virus, bacteria, whatever, and maybe got them to stop the bomb. The chapter ends before we find out for sure. I do need to say, before we jump into the chapter itself, I did read the first 7 or so pages of that bad Google Translate thing the Indonesian group did a week or so ago. So I've read the first few pages of this chapter, but it was a very bad translation, so we'll see how much that keeps up. Anyway, let's jump right on in. But before we start, we have a message from Waterflame, the Scanlator. Before we get to the final chapter, I would like to thank everyone who has helped over the years in releasing the English scanlation of Gakko-garashi. Below is a list of everyone I was able to find, and sorry if I somehow missed your name. And it's AP, Pornyan, Glasskin, Kobe, Monokuma, Imperial X, Emer, Deal, Habanero Scans, all the Anons in threads and in chapter scans, Snowy Liv, Jay, Aqua, Xenon, Nyankudo, Spookies, Shwaigai, and the groups Norway Scan, Blick Winnicle, Zombies Ate My Manga, Deletal, and Yuri House. And of course, Waterflame Scanlation. So, thanks to everyone who has worked on this series over the years. So yeah, let's jump right on in. We have a magazine cover of the 4 girls on desks in Megurigaoka. You know, the same kind of vibe of the key visual from the anime. You know, they're happy, but we see the walls kind of blown out behind them. And we open 3 years later in the St. Isidore University Library. And we see Miki enter the library. Miki definitely survived. That answers that question. I guess they did not drop the bomb. Then we have our actual cover, a 2-page color spread of basically almost every character in the series. The 4 main girls, Megane, Toromaru, Ru, Aosoi, Kei, the Depravity Society, the Melee Fight Crew, all those guys. But back to the story. An older Miki is looking around the library with a flashlight, and a hand suddenly comes up behind her, and she jumps. And it's Rise of the Depravity Society. Rise-san, what are you doing? Well... And then they sit down at a table. Here, take this. And it's Journal Volume 21. And I think this is around where I got before, in the aborted Google Translate version. But Rise takes the journal, certainly. And she flips through it. So it was Kansai this time? How are things over there? It's tough all over, but getting better. And Rise looks at the journal again. 21 volumes already. It's been quite a while. Yes. So my guess is that Miki has spent the last 3 years going out to like other parts of Japan and finding survivors, is my guess. On that day, we were just waiting. We'd done all we could do. All that was left was to wait. And we see Yuki on the rooftop, Miki and Kurumi curled up together on the floor, and Yuri on the helicopter. Not giving up. Counting down. Remembering, wishing, praying, and Yuki looks up defeated, but her eyes widen, fighting, and she sees the helicopter above her, and she waves at the helicopter, and the light shines at her. We only learned about this later, but Randall was not a monolith, and we see what looks like 2 different groups of soldiers fighting each other. I guess they're all Randall people. On the brink of collapse with no hope for the future. They were divided on how to deal with us. And we see the woman who is speaking to Yuki at the end of the last chapter listen to Yuki say, "We found a treatment. Wait." And then she starts broadcasting the message. Go ahead. It's the high schools. Megurigaoka High School's water. And right then the woman is being like, the soldier's like pointing a gun at her. And she tries to run away, but he fires the shots. And she's like, bleeding out. Oh fuck. Hello? Hello? Continue. You know, since that day, it's been tough. And this is being broadcast all over Randall, where like fighting is broken out. And on that aircraft carrier. Where the Operation Great Cleansing is ready to go, which is, I'm guessing, is the name of the nuke plan. And then they all these soldiers, so there's kind of a standoff going on over whether or not to use the nuke. But then the soldiers at this standoff also start hearing Yukis message. And hearing that, one soldier just shoots all the computers so they can't fire the nuke. It was a less extreme faction of Randall who stopped the bomb and saved us. In a way, Shiko-san was right. There was a good Randall after all. What started it all was Yuki-senpai's call. If not for that, the bomb would have fallen, and the cure for Omega would have been lost forever. On that day, Yuki-senpai, all of us, we saved the world. And we see Randall comes into Megurigaoka and gets all of them out. We see Yuri on the helicopter was safe, was not bitten. She survived against all odds. Miki is carried out on a stretcher, but she should be fine. Well, we know she's fine because she's narrating all this. That's what the Randall people said. That reminds me, Yuki-senpai, and Rise cuts her off. You're still calling her senpai? School-time habits die hard, I guess. Well, you can keep calling her that. She did save the world, after all. That's not true. Huh? Yuki-senpai is an incredible person, but she's not that incredible. It did feel kind of weird to all of a sudden start talking about saving the world. So yeah, I appreciate Miki kind of like, she's not like a world savior or anything. Well, but if she hadn't gotten Randall to change their ways, then the bomb would have gone off, and there'd be no cure. And Miki kind of like fights back against that. A phone call with someone you've never met isn't enough to cause real change. And Rise looks at her confused. I'm sure the people at Randall have been troubled for a long time. Sacrificing someone else in order to live is painful. So painful they tried to forget. We have images of all the dead Randall people. They acted like there was no one there. But when they heard Yuki-senpai's voice, they were forced to remember that there were survivors. Hearing her voice, they knew that they would be murderers. Yeah, I think we were all desperately trying to stay alive. The people at Randall's base and the soldiers who came to find us. We only discovered the cure because Shiko-san, Megune, and a lot of other people were there. So, all of us saved the world. Those alive today and those trying to stay alive. Together. Thus, and Rise looks at her, thus spake Naoki Miki. Such modesty is befitting a hero. That kind of like Miki kind of blushes. Quit it! Oh, that's right. And Rise remembers something. I have letters for you. And she pulls out a set of letters for Miki. And Miki looks happy as she looks at them, and she opens it. Risan is keeping busy like she always does. She's the district chief in the Reconstruction Authority, after all. What does it say? She wrote that she has a senpai who she's really annoyed with. But she's into the senpai, I see. No, it's fine. I'm actually kind of shocked at how happy an ending we're getting. Like, I was not expecting this to be a happily ever after kind of deal. Which I'm saving a lot of my thoughts for the post-mortem retrospective section of the video, because I'm just gonna let it all hit me first, I think, because, it's a final fucking chapter. So anyway, carrying on. And Kurumi-senpai, she's feeling very dejected. Kurumi survived? I mean, she's at least confined to a wheelchair. But yeah, Kurumi is A-okay. She's trying to be a doctor, right? Yes, says she's studying very hard, but she's still having trouble. Oh? You'll be traveling alone again after this? I think so. I was planning on heading north next. Don't you get lonely? When I feel lonely, just come back here. And Rise kind of smiles. I thought you four would be together forever. And Miki stands up. I think it's strange myself. At the time, I just thought that the only thing I needed was for all of us to be together. But now, we've each found our own paths through life. And I'm glad. And we see, I always forget Helmet Girl's name. Helmet Girl and her son, it looks like. I'm not sure. Babies are weird. And is that Hina of the Depravity Society? They're like, playing with the kid. Yuri's at work. Kurumi's studying to be a doctor. The rest of the Depravity Society are like either moving boxes or if you're what's the leader's name? I think it starts with a T. Why can't I remember her name? Like I know it starts with a T. Toko. Toko's her name. All right. I'm dumb. I did just cut through a video to look up a character's name. But you know what? It's the final video. Do what I want. And I'm glad. And Risei responds, though your bodies may be far apart, your souls are connected. And Yuki-senpai's at Megurigaoka? Yes, she was very excited. What's Yuki doing at Megurigaoka? A new semester is starting. Is she a teacher? Alright. I'm late. And this kid... See, I guess it's like an elementary school now, because someone who looks like an elementary schooler runs by, good morning, Yukine. Oh, no. Just like Megune. Jeez, I told you to call me Takaya-sensei. Just like Megune. Teehee. Class is starting. Yes, I know. And this little girl runs by. I'm really enjoying school lately. I hear school in the old days was incredible. There were all kinds of things, like the physics room and the music room. This is very reminiscent. This is a clear callback to that opening monologue. But I really love the way school is now. And that's because... and we see the school is still, like, not exactly... Like, the windows are still cracked. It's still kind of dilapidated. But there are people there. It's very clearly an elementary school now. Yeah, they're all, like, enjoying their lives. And not Yuki runs on in, right on time. And this boy looks at her. No, you're late. And Yuki walks in. Okay, quiet down. Today, before we start class, I have a wonderful secret just for you. Do you like studying? I hate... And, not Yuki calls out, I hate it. Another girl raises her hand. It looks a lot like Yuri. I like it. Dunno, is, the boy. Studying is very important. But school isn't just a place for studying. It's where you can make friends and get help from your teachers. And she flashes back to, like, all of her friends from the entire manga. Your friends and teachers are here, so you can have fun together and share your burdens. I think it's very important to talk about your worries. By connecting with others, you can even save the world. All of us make school something incredible. And I think that's our first look at adult Yuki right there. A lot has happened, and there aren't really any schools left anymore. So wouldn't it be nice to try again? So starting today, you and I are beginning this school. Oh, so it's not like she is personally starting all this. Alright, I like that a lot more than she's just some teacher. And Yuki smiles at the other kid, and she looks up into the sky. Hey, Megune. And we see Megune's cross. I made it. Okay, let's start class. And we see an open book. And it's a picture of all four of them. Thank you for reading. Yeah, I'm guessing this is after the last chapter. There's something here about January 10th, 2020. It's not translated, so I can't tell you what it says, but anyway. So this was the final chapter. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think a big part of it is that it's just a little too clinical, if that makes any sense. Like, I think it's kind of part of the problem I had with the ending of Ghoul-Re, is that it's also in both cases, there are shows that didn't really lean into a happy ending, all of a sudden turning around and getting a happy ending. This is not as bad as Ghoul-Re's final chapter that just felt way too out of left field for it to really land. Like, this is a good, well-written chapter, but it's hard for it to really capture the emotions of the rest of the series when it's so detached, when it's so, Miki narrating. Like, I do, like, academically really appreciate, Yuki trying to get schools up and running again in the apocalypse. Though I do wish we had actually spent some time, like, seeing how the world as a whole was functioning. Like even throughout the manga, it felt like that was always just kind of there, and we're right about to really get to see how the world at large is taking all this. And then we never did, because of the way the Randall arc ended up playing out. But now, it's like, what happened to the zombies? Are they all dead? Because we know there is a zombie cure in the water Megurigaoka, does that mean that, and it's been kind of implied the zombies aren't really dead. They still have some form of consciousness. They're still like, completely instinctual, kill. But they are like, seem to have some kind of memories of when, or some kind of, memory might be too strong a word, but some kind of something when they were alive. There's kind of the implication that the zombies aren't really all that dead. So are the zombies now people again? Were they cured by the water? I'm not sure. I don't think so, because I think if they did do that, then, like, society would kind of be up and running again, but because it's not, I'm figuring they've just killed most of the zombies. They've killed enough that Megurigaoka can have a school outside. And, I think the mirroring is a big thing in manga. A lot of manga and stories in general do, like, to end in a very similar way to what you began, which we definitely see with the young kid who's not Yuki, and Yuki filling in for the Megane role. I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about this ending. I do think it's just a little too clinical. I think Kurumi should have died. I think that it feels like there isn't enough consequence. And, Kurumi was with the ghosts in 77, with Aozoi, with Megane, with Toromaru. So it's just kind of odd to have her miraculously survive. Especially because the manga has been raising death flags for her since, like, chapter 30. Like, before I started reviewing the series, they were doing death flags for Kurumi. I don't know. I really want to like this chapter. Of course I do. I love this series. This chapter is not something that's going to make me hate the series from now on. But it's just, it's a little too cold and clinical. I don't know. I imagine if I was still doing Manga of the Month, which for those of y'all who were not subscribers specifically for the summer of 2018 was a thing I did where I talked about all the month's manga at the end of a month. If I was still doing Manga of the Month, much like I did with Guri, I would come back to this chapter once the weight of time had set in. But I'm not doing that anymore. Maybe in a month or so I'll come back and just talk about this chapter, not once I have more time to think about it. But I really just don't know. I don't know what to think. It's just kind of. I really want it to be a more emotional chapter than it is, but it's mostly like, Rise, who's barely been a character. I remember nothing about her, besides that she's a member of the Depravity Society. Rise and Miki sitting around talking about how the world has changed, which is kind of something that happens a lot, I feel, in epilogues, and it's not always the best thing. I think a really good ending would have been one, maybe like if you want Kurumi to live, fine, but end it with, they're safe, the world will probably be saved now, now they have the cure, but it's a long, dangerous road ahead. Things aren't going to be simple. I think that's an ending that's true to the spirit of School Live, and I think it's probably the ending they should have gone for, rather than this straight-up happy ending, which is a shockingly similar thing to my thoughts on Tokyo Ghoul. Take of that what you will. Whew. So yeah. I don't know. Another part of me just doesn't want it to be over, because the series is so good. It's still a fantastic series, and has not changed my opinion of the series in the least. So that's a good thing. I don't know. So I'm gonna leave it to you guys. What did y'all think of this chapter? Did y'all think this was a good ending? Did you think this was an appropriate ending to the series? Do you think it matched the tone, the themes of the series? Do you think it just was good in general, even if it was not necessarily, in the same tone as the rest of the series? Did it still do its job well? Did you like it? Did you hate it? That's what the comments are for. Feel free to talk about it. But yeah, that's all I have for School Live. This is, if I don't do a retrospective of the final chapter, time has passed, let's talk about this kind of video in the future, this is my last School Live video. Definitely my last School Live reaction, because there is no more live reactions to give. I've read it all. So, if you want to continue to listen to my voice talk about manga, I have plenty of other series you can check out, including Boruto, Naruto Next Generations, Fire Force, Black Butler, Silver Spoon, which still has 3 chapters left to translate. But though that is finished in Japan, so similar, that'll be gone, much like School Live is. Blue Exorcist, Eden Zero, Heroes, which is also only has a couple chapters left, that Mashima crossover series, Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, IDW's Sonic the Hedgehog series, along with Tangle and Whisper. Yeah, and I have a couple of more series down the pipeline. Y'all know, who've been watching my videos for other things, One Piece will be here eventually. I'm still at Dressrosa. And I have a surprise series that will be coming in around February, probably, that you will not see coming. So if you want to see more of my lovely content, check that out in the channel description or whatever. But if not, I hope you've enjoyed this lovely ride of School Live. And it's been a pleasure having you as an audience for as long as I've had you. So, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter, the video, the series, all of it. If you did, drop me a like or subscribe or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, as always, people, your life is your own, okay? Bye!